Howdy, it's Ari with Land Insights, and in this video, we're going to be talking about the My Markets tab. This will be a brief overview, and just a heads up to get started in the My Markets tab, you should have at least one county added to your My Markets. Obviously, the more you add, though, the more there will be to look at, and the more analysis can be had. It'll also be beneficial if you've maybe added some zip codes if you do want to look at that zip code data. But ultimately, these are all markets that you've vetted, you've decided you like, and they're the markets that ultimately you do want to market to. You just need to do a little bit more research and understanding. Maybe do you want to focus on one before the other, or are you just trying to create a backlog? Are you trying to look for certain opportunities? That is what My Markets is good for. So what we're going to do is hop over there. Immediately you'll see all of the counties that I personally have chosen and vetted, and so these are all examples. I haven't gone through absolutely every single one of them, so keep that in mind as I kind of discover some things alongside you all. And looking at these counties, it looks like I have some in Kentucky, some in Ohio, West Virginia, and Virginia. And the idea here is that while it sounds great to pit all these markets up against one another, kind of like a gladiator cage, right? There's no noise of all the other markets in the United States. They're only the ones that I've chosen. You could try to make some decisions based on this comparison of data, but the issue here is there's still a lot happening in Kentucky that may affect that market differently than Ohio or West Virginia or Virginia. And what I mean by that is there's a lot happening here in terms of weather, topography, job growth, population density, socioeconomic status of the people in these states, the desirability to move to these areas. There's just an absolute uh, different, and really even other factors we're just not really aware of that will affect the desirability of folks to move here. And I'm sure other factors that we aren't talking about now that may affect how desirable it is to move to these places, and potentially even affect the demand in different ways. An extreme example is maybe Texas versus West Virginia, where there's a lot of demand in Texas. So 50% in one county in Virginia might sound great, but that might be the equivalent in terms of volume, in terms of demand. When we're comparing that data, that might be the same as 25% Texas. So you really have good reason to silo these states and do an analysis within those states. So if I kind of bring up Kentucky here, this is where I can start looking at other acreage ranges or other data points on the heat map to maybe prioritize, okay, if we're looking at sell-through rate, which ones would be best to target first, or if that's not something you really care about, maybe using price per acre data, Gini, things like that to decide what might be more important to you. Going through the acreage ranges might allow you to determine whether or not you want to only target certain aspects of a county, and the same is true with zip codes. Now, zip codes won't show unless you've chosen those zip codes and added them to your My Markets as well. In this case, you'll see I've added 3 zip codes in Kentucky, and so this is an opportunity to analyze each one of these zip codes, doing the same thing, whether it's looking at different acreage ranges or looking at different data points. Looking at other data points on the tooltip will allow me to kind of get an overall view of those zip codes and what's happening there. I generally, when I'm looking at zip codes, I wouldn't recommend using too many filters because that's just going to limit the data that you see, and you're already doing that intentionally by looking at markets that you've chosen. So keep that in mind as you conduct your analysis in My Markets. If you have any questions, you're always more than welcome to reach out to us at hello@landinsights.co, or you can also reach us at the bottom right corner of your platform.